My father and grandfather were shepherds. My sons have their own farms and their own sheep, so I suppose that's progress, but I've always had to look after other people's sheep. And for that, I've always been looked down on, and I've had to work every day, including the Sabbath. And we were often told by the priests that we were breaking the law, but I don't know where they would have got their lambs for sacrifice if we didn't. People often tell me that my life must be very dull, and in some senses I suppose that looking after sheep is very much the same thing every day, but many people haven't had the opportunity to watch lambs play and leap, or to sit on a hill and watch the night sky, the moon and the stars. And once I saw a sight that very few people have ever seen. It was only once, but once was enough for me, or any man I would imagine. And if a priest is ever rude to me, I always tell myself, it doesn't matter. I had that night, and they didn't. I was about 19 at the time, and although that's a few years ago now, I remember it like it was yesterday. Our group was working out on the hillside that night. Much like most other nights, we'd had a bite to eat, and we were sitting, talking, and the sheep were all around us, and everything was normal and quiet as the darkness drew in. But then there was a sort of strange stillness in the air. We all felt it, but it was Simon who noticed it first. Is it me? Or is it getting lighter? We began to be able to see each other's faces in a sort of shimmery light, but there was no moon that night. We all seemed surrounded by this sort of silver glow, the purest light I ever saw. The sheep looked white as snow. And then farther up the hill, the glow seemed to take shape, and we saw a man in the very centre of it. He was like us, but much taller. He was completely still. And so were we. We were transfixed. And he was looking at us. And we didn't say a word. It didn't seem right. And neither did he for what seemed like forever. It was as if he was trying to find the right words. But then he began to tell us what he called good news of great joy. And he spoke of a baby, newly born in the town of David at the bottom of the hill, and how this baby was sent by God to save the world. He told us to go and find him. He told us where he would be and how we would recognise him, and that we must tell others the good news as well. And it seemed to us that the more he told us, the more joyful he got. And then suddenly, he wasn't alone anymore. First there were 2, then 4, then 8, and in a few seconds there were hundreds, maybe even thousands, just like him, all the way up the hill and into the sky. And they were singing, "Glory to God and peace on earth to all men." It was wonderful. We wanted it to go on forever. But as suddenly as it had begun, it came to an end. And they were gone, as if heaven had swallowed them up, and we were lost, and strangely lonely in the dark. Then Samuel, who's the oldest amongst us, spoke up. "Well, come on, boys, let's go and find this baby." And immediately we were off, running and shouting and singing down the hill into Bethlehem. And we found the baby, just as the man in the light had said. We didn't need to search. We were sort of led there. There wasn't much to see, really. I was a young mother with her husband and the newborn baby, camped in a stable of all places because there was no room anywhere else. And afterwards we did as we'd been told. We spread the word, and there was quite a bit of excitement, but not for very long. Nothing seems to last. We were local heroes for a while, but soon enough we were just shepherds again, doing our dull job. But we knew we were different from everyone else. we had that night on the hill. And though I don't talk about it much these days, it keeps me warm inside, because I was there.